World. Tonight we're going to be talking about wet shaving. This is going to be kind of a primer video, or beginners for those of you who are thinking about maybe going to wet shaving, wondering what wet shaving is, wondering how you would get started. What are the basic things that you need to get started with this? Because it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's kind of a hobby, but it's also useful for something too. So we're going to walk through the razors, the shaves, the soaps, shaving techniques, all the basics, and try to cover all the bases here in a short amount of time. So first of all, why wet shaving? Well, there's a number of reasons. Women have their pedicures and their manicures and their facials, but us guys, we don't really do much to take care of ourselves in that kind of way, right? We a lot of us, it's like, I'll put on lotion, when hell freezes over, that type of thing. So this is something you do to take care of your skin and your face. If you think about it, you've only got one face, so you might as well take care of it. And it's the first impression that the world sees of who you are. So you want to make that a good impression, right? And if you've always got nasty stubble like this, or razor burn and all that type of thing, you're not putting on your best face. But it's also better for you. You can take better care of your skin. The other thing is just kind of for nostalgia purposes, right? Your father, your grandfather probably shaved this way. So it's just kind of a way to kind of get back to history there and get in touch with how things used to be and how they can still be. And then, if you're the type of guy that just sprays whatever out of a can and slaps it on your face and quick slash and dash and you're good to go, that stuff's just it's not good for your skin. It's not going to provide any nourishment for it. Your skin's going to dry out. You're going to get wrinkles faster and that type of thing. And then the last reason is, actually second to last reason, is for cost, right? If you use electric razors, or if you use cartridge razors, a good one, they'll lead you to believe, is going to cost about $150 or more for that type of thing. And if you've been shopping for cartridge razors recently, you know how expensive those can be. That's why places like Harry's and Dollar Shave Club came around, because it was just so expensive to buy cartridge razors. The last time I went in to buy a replacement pack for the brand that I had, I ended up buying a different brand new razor that came with four, and it was $2 less than the 3 or 4 recharges for the one that I had. It's expensive. With the wet shaving, with the double-edged razor, the blades themselves are very inexpensive, and once you get the initial kit set up, your blade, your soap, and your brush, that's really all you need to get started. Then the rest of it is really just razor blades, and those are pretty minimal. The last reason then is if you suffer from razor burn and razor bumps, that being ingrown hairs from your electric razor, like I did, then switching to wet shaving may be exactly what you're looking for, because it can cut down on it. It gives you a better shave, really. It doesn't leave things to get ingrown hairs, at least not as often. All right, so let's walk through the kit. Okay, so let's talk about just the types of things you can get started with. You're probably all familiar with the good old electric razors. Plug it in, turn it on, handy, convenient, but never gave me a good shave, and usually left me prone for razor bumps and things like I mentioned before. So we'll toss those aside. I don't have my cartridge razor out. I do carry that for a cartridge razor for travel when I'm going to be shaving a couple of times, because last time I took my double edge, my razor blades got confiscated in security. As dangerous as those tiny little pieces of metal could be, I'm sure. Not really going to talk about this one very much. This is a Rolls razor. This was a gift from my brother. A really cool razor from about the World War II era. Let's see if I can get this thing open. There we go. So carried by GIs. I unfortunately cracked the stone, so that's not. I can't use it for that. But it's a really cool little piece of history. It's got a strop built in there, so you would strop it back and forth and then pop off the blade and put it in there. You can take a look. You can get these at antique stores and flea markets and stuff. So you can find them online too. So it's just a cool kind of piece of history. Came in this really nice shiny case, and I think would do good if I could get it sharp again. So that's just a cool thing. All right, the thing that you're probably very familiar with here is the good old the single edge. There we go, also known as the cutthroat razor, right? So this is not where I would recommend you start if you're a beginner. These are very difficult to shave well with, and you also need a good one, much better than this one that I have here, if you want to get a good shave. This one I got secondhand from I believe it was whipdog.com. Funny name, but he restores razors. This was one of his sight unseen deals. It was just a deal there. He sends you one of his picks that he's restored and sharpened, but you don't really know what it is until you get it. So I tried this. It's difficult to use. I think it's either not sharp enough or who knows. It doesn't even have a brand that I can see on it. So if you're going to do this, these cost about $100 or more. Up from $100. To do well, and you definitely have to have a good technique for using it. You gotta, and you gotta be careful, of course, because you've got a big blade here. But unless you're really serious about it and really looking to learn about it, I wouldn't recommend this if you're just getting started wet shaving. But they're definitely cool. Some people use them all the time. But like I said, the initial cost is going to be higher for those. Then we've got what's called a shavette. So this looks very similar. You hold it in exactly the same way, shave with it in exactly the same way as your straight edge. But this one was about, $16 or something. And the reason is that rather than a straight edge, it takes half blades. So you can take a regular double edge blade and snap it in half, or by the halves, and that just goes in there. And a lot of barbershops and things are going to use these. If you see straight edge shaves advertised, they are most likely, any ones that I've seen, are using this, which to me doesn't really count. Like, if I'm going to pay for a straight edge shave, I don't want a shavette shave. But that's the way it is. It's economical and hygienic, because you just pop in a new blade for each new customer, whereas this kind of thing you'd have to sterilize, obviously, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, right? They've got barbicide, you sterilize it anyway. But so anyway, shavette, this one, they're hard to shave with, right? I've cut myself a lot, and none too gently with this one, just because you still have to be careful. And yeah, it's also tough. The blade is, being that there's only that much blade sticking out, then it's pretty rigid. It doesn't give a lot. So again, welcome to try it, but I wouldn't recommend it to start. So on to Old Faithful here. This is your classic double edge razor, plain and simple, no frills. Some of them are butterflies, where they kind of split in the middle and open up. This is a Merkur, I believe a 39C, and be careful with it, because there is a blade in there. Okay, you just drop the blade in there. 3 little pieces of metal. Very sturdy, very reliable. I've had this for quite a few years already, and it's looks great, works great. These are nice. We'll be shaving with this one later today, and you notice it's got these guards down here, which means that you can only get, once you get past a certain point when you're shaving, a certain angle, then this is touching your skin and you don't get cut. So really it's only between, and if you're too steep of an angle, then you're not getting cut here, you're not getting cut here. So it really just lets you get a good angle. You can still cut yourself, of course, like you can with even a cartridge razor, but not too badly usually. Okay, so let's talk about brushes a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good examples here because my collection is not that big, but brushes come in 3 basic variants. You've got your synthetic brush, your boar brush, and badger brushes. And badger brushes come in a number of different grades from, you got, what is it, best, pure and silver tip, and I think there's several other variants in there. Silver tip is going to be your best. This one's a little like a $16 brush I got off of Amazon, I think. But it's worked fairly well. It's pretty nice for a $16 brush. Badger brush, it works decently well. I haven't made the investment to a silver tip brush, but if you're interested in that, then I would say check out a reputable store, or Etsy. I think is actually a good place to find good Badger brushes for actually less than you would find in a place like the Art of Shaving, which is quite an expensive store. Okay, so we got Badger brushes there. Then we got synthetic brushes. This one is actually my father's old brush. So made of synthetic fibers, obviously, some kind of nylon or something like that. The thing about this is they're not going to soak up as much water, obviously, and they're not going to hold lather quite as well. Being synthetic, plastic doesn't hold water very well. So they're also fairly inexpensive, but to me, for the price that you can get a good bore brush, to me, there's not really a reason to go synthetic. So that brings us to the bore brush, which is the one I've got soaking here for later. Omega is a great brand. I like this one. I see it's got some cracks in it from soaking in water because it's kind of small. You shouldn't have it like I had it here. You don't really want that, but it falls into the cup there. Anyway, I've had this one for maybe 3 years, and it's for like $15 or $12 or whatever I spent. I really like this. This is actually probably one of my favorites. It's nice and small. It's my go-to travel brush as well. Just focus. There we go. Made in Italy. They do good stuff with the Badger or the boar brushes. So, and it's actually a lot softer than I thought it would be. People were saying, I was reading stuff and saying the boar brushes are tough and bristly. Obviously, it is going to be. It's not going to be as soft as a silver tip Badger brush, but it's at least as soft as this one, this cheapo brush, and I think it's plenty soft. I like it a lot. Okay, so that's brushes. Again, go silver tip. You can spend lots and lots of money, but to get started, I would say look for an Omega. Just don't worry too much. There's lots of different sizes of handles and brush sizes and all that. You don't have to get bogged down in the details. Just find one in the color you like and get started. Okay, and then soaps. So I don't have a puck soap. That's probably the one that most of you are familiar with. If you used to watch your dad shaving, you get the hard kind of like a bar of soap in the bottom of a cup. I have used those, and I found some that worked really well. I don't have one right now, and I like what else I'm using. So this is prehshave cream. Comes in a tube like this. This lasts forever, I tell you. For whatever it is, about $10 for this tube. I don't know how long I've had it. It's just now getting done, but a couple of years at least I've had this one, and it's great. You only squeeze a tiny little bit, like a pea-sized amount, in the bottom of the cup, which I'll probably do and show you how that works. And you don't really need much at all. And then this is a Italian shaving soap, or a Razor Rocks XXX. They've got a lot of different scents. This one, these ones are kind of in between a puck and a cream, because they're quite soft, you see, and so they lather up real well. You don't have to mix them with a lot of water. You don't need much water on your brush. Just get a little on the tip and then lather it up on your face. So I like this. This is very convenient. You don't need a separate bowl to mix it in. You just get a little on your brush. So again, for travel, I like this because I don't need to bring my bowl with me. It lathers up really nicely, and it also lasts fairly long. So prehshave, this brand has this. XXX is good too. I think it's ItalianBarber.com. They've got a lot of different good soaps. And while we're on the topic of internet stuff, definitely check out Reddit.com, the subreddit Wicked Edge. I learned so much from that. That community is great. People are just willing to answer your questions. Lots of good resources there. If you've got questions, search for it. There's probably already an answer there. Anyway. All right, and then blades. So the nice thing about it, what most people say with double-edge shaving, is how cheap the blades are, right? Because you're buying this one little thin piece of metal here, not a whole cartridge of metal and plastic and all that. So it's very inexpensive to start and do a bunch of, try a bunch of different ones. Amazon has all these different combo packs. You try one, find one that you like, and once you like that, then you get the ones that you like from there on out, and it's fairly inexpensive. To the shave. So before we actually start shaving, let's talk about pre-shave stuff. I just got out of the shower, and that's what I like to do. Some people can do it without, but I find that kind of softening up the hair in the shower works. So I usually shave after that. Whenever you do that, in the morning or evening, that doesn't really matter. But it helps if you're not going to take a shower, then you can just get a washcloth wet with hot water. I find hot water works better. Some people swear by cold water shaving. I've tried that. It kind of works. I could do it in a pinch, but I think the hot water just makes for a smoother shave for me. Secondly is glycerin soap. So this I didn't start with this, but this is cheap. I got this at Whole Foods. It's like $3 for a bar. This is, again, lasted me forever. Noticing a theme here, the stuff with wet shaving, it lasts a long time. So you get your money's worth. So anyway, a little bit of pre-shave with that. So we're just gonna get some water on that. So we start with that. And just rub that in. We're not going to leave it. We're going to rinse off most of it. We're going to leave a little bit. So we're not doing a thorough rinse. I feel like when I rinse my hands, it's still got that film. That's what we want, is to kind of coat it and help the razor blade glide a little bit better. All right. So now we're going to dump this out. Shake out my brush fairly well. It doesn't need to be dripping wet. And again, we'll use this. So here we go. Just a tiny little bit here. That's about all I need. That's actually probably more than I'm going to need, but and then we just start whipping it up. So spin it around and around. Now, water quality does make a difference with how well it lathers. So if you're having a hard time getting a lather, if you have hard water at your place, then that could be a cause of not getting a good lather. I've never had a problem out here, but if it's your problem, then you might have to use some other water, or like I said, if you go with the Italian shaving soap, you just get a little on your brush and then you lather it up on your face, and it doesn't matter so much. All right, so we've got a good stiff lather there, like that. Got the brush full. Now we're just going to go circles around. Work it all in everywhere. All right, and so another important thing, getting into shaving technique here, is becoming familiar with the grain of the hair on your face. Okay, they've got you can search for facial hair grain chart or something online, I'm sure, but I've seen it. You can print it off. It's basically a picture of your face. And so what you do, how do you find the grain in your face? Because you, for shaving, what you typically want to do is shave with the grain to start, and then if you want an even smoother shave across the grain, and then finally against the grain. So you can do 3 passes for the smoothest shave possible. Bear in mind that might irritate your face because you're scraping off 3 layers of skin and stuff, but I don't do that very often just because I don't need to. A regular shave with the grain works pretty well. So when just without anything on your face, you don't need any water or anything like that to find the grain, you just run your hand around your face and you find where it's smooth, kind of like petting a dog versus petting a dog the wrong way. So that gives you a feel for the grain. So if it's smooth this way, for me it's smooth this way, and then it's rough the other way. And actually probably the better way to tell it is figure out which way you have to brush the hair so that it feels the roughest. That's against the grain, so 180 degrees from that is with the grain. So for me, against the grain is this way, kind of from my mouth out this way. So that means with the grain is like this. Now, just for ease of use, I usually go straight up and down when I'm shaving, so I am going cross grain here. But down here, the grain goes this way,
Okay, so this would be against the grain, so I go this way. So pretty much on my face it works. I just basically go down everywhere. And then if I wanted to go across the grain, I go back this way, I go up this way. Where's my razor? There we go. So this would be against the grain. That's usually kind of uncomfortable for me unless, again, so if I wanted to get a really close shave, I would go with the grain first, then across the grain here, and then against the grain. You also want to make sure your skin is taut, right? If you got all these, if you're just loose like this, you're going to get cut easier. So, all right, so with that, find the grain of your face, know which way you need to shave. Now, technique for shaving with a double-edged razor like this. Start with it all the way against your face like this, okay? Obviously you're not going to shave anything. And then you're going to kind of rotate it until you start to feel it grab and you can hear it, right? Hear it shave. And if it's a nice new sharp blade, then you shouldn't get a lot of tugging. That's how I found out that some of these other razors don't work for me. If they're a fresh blade and they're tugging, then I'm not going to waste my time with that because it's not a comfortable shave, and I want to have a nice comfortable shave. Pressure wise, this is the other big thing for beginners. It caught me up too, so pay attention to this. You don't need much pressure at all. People will say it's the weight of the razor blade is about enough. Now, if it's skipping and bouncing, right? If you're just doing two and it's bouncing and it's not really cutting, that's not enough. So just enough pressure to keep it flush against your skin. You want it nice strokes. Obviously the blade is going this way, right? So you don't want to go like this, going parallel to the blade. You're going to cut yourself. You want to go perpendicular to the blade. Like I said, when you get around areas, if depending on how your face is, you'll probably find this out from a few nicks. All right, how you need to stretch your face to make sure that you get a nice smooth shave, and then rinse off your blade. Okay. I also, my little trick here is rinsing with cold water always. I'm not sure that hot water can really change the dynamics of the blade, but it just seems to work better for me. So, a warm shower, hot water there to soften up the beard. Hot water when I put on the glycerin soap, and then cold water to rinse the blade off. So again, you're just going to keep going around here. Find that balance. But if you're having trouble, if you feel like it's too much irritation, loosen up your grip. Loosen it up. Keep a firm hold on the head, obviously, of the blade here. You don't want it wiggling around, right? So you want a nice snug grip, but you're not pushing. You're not trying to scrape the hair off. You've got a fine razor blade that should have no trouble cutting through a few hairs. Okay, so if you're having trouble, ease up on the blade, just enough pressure to give a nice shave. And you'll notice I'm taking short strokes, nice short strokes to get all the way around. There we go. I would say if it's your first time shaving, this was recommended for me. With a new razor, do from here back. Do your cheek area first. It's a nice flat area. Usually the skin's pretty tight already. Don't start around here. If I cut myself, 90% of the time, it's right here. It's my trouble area is the chin, and it's a tough area. So start here and go, and finish up with your other normal mode of shaving, whether it's a cartridge razor or your other blade, just so you get practice the strokes, get it in with a nice easy canvas here before you start tackling the difficult areas. So again, if I wanted to, I could go back, but for pretty much everyday shaving, just one like that with the grain gets me as smooth as I need to for the next day or two. All right, final word post shaving is obviously you rinse it off with cold water. If you did cut yourself, let me see, a couple of things can help. First thing is an alum block like this. It's not aluminum, 100% natural mineral salts. So you just run this under the water, get it wet, and just do it in circles around your face. It helps to kind of tighten up the skin, close up the pores. If you cut yourself really bad, then a styptic pencil is what you're looking for. There's a name brand called My Nick is Sealed. I haven't used that one, but a styptic pencil. Get the fatter one. They come in skinnier versions too. But you just again get some water on that and rub it over the cut. It's going to sting, but it will stop the bleeding much faster than having the little things of toilet paper all over your face. You know, you just rub that. Even for really bad cuts, I use this, and it stops the bleeding much faster. And then finally, use some kind of post-shave balm. You want something ideally without a lot of alcohol in it. And if you look on the ingredients list, the ones that end in OL, like was it like glycerol and things like that, I believe are the alcohol-based ones. So those can kind of irritate your skin, so you want to stay away from those. I think this one has it, but it is very mild if it does. So I like this one, but there's lots of post-shave balms out there just to kind of tone your face and give it the moisture it needs, because again, you've just been scraping off some layers of skin there. So again, take care of your skin. This is the only face you have. It might as well look as good as it can. And it's just a calming ritual for me. And it's a fun hobby, right? You feel like you're using something substantial with these blades. Connect with the past. Give yourself a little bit of something to do that's just your thing, you know? So I hope you found that useful. Again, check out the subreddit Wicked Edge and ItalianBarber.com. There's Badger and Blade, a couple of other good places to find more information. And drop a line in the comments if you got any questions. And thanks very much for watching.